This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. I need 30 more seconds. I'll wait for Russ.
Did anybody else?
You want it. It was only 19 seconds, but it was high priority.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Oh Lord, as we gather this stage to the important business for the people of the government of Owego. Grant us sense of passion, understanding. Amen.
All right, so tonight we're gonna save public comment to the end so we can get to our discussion, which is continuation of last meeting. So, go for the board, and we have the chief here tonight with us, so that's a good deal. And I've talked to county IT, so I think we have a bunch of information. So, discussion about the grant application. What do you want to say? Anything?
No, other than just, I'm sure Matt, I was out of town last week, I apologize. My officer did a presentation. Just want to say that the grant came out, side of our village, we were allowed to apply for $125,000 in this grant. I got several grants in the past for the betterment of the police department and village, police cars, and computers, and all kinds of stuff. We were notified by IT recently that our computers were soon not to be able to stay on county server because we couldn't bring them up to the ability they need for safeguards, even though our computers are upgraded. So I asked guys what else they would want, and the county has, for quite a while, I had a conversation with the DA's office a few years ago when we got our plate readers for our car, and they were hoping that the county would be able to get a couple pole-mounted cameras for the entrance and exits of the village. So that's all been put on hold, but that's all stuff that we can get in this grant. Other things that our department could use, the county has them, state police have them, but drones, so that we've already called the county several times for searching for somebody that had burglarized one of our local stores, ran in the woods. The county came down several times with their drone and assisted us. So that's all we're looking to do. We're not looking to invade anybody's privacy. There's safeguards on everything. Even one of my officers run a DMV photo search for somebody. There's safeguards put in place with that. If they don't put the right information in, they get an email back from our TAC officer. I also get a copy of that email to let me know that one of the guys didn't do that. And if you want to correct it, the state audits us on all of this stuff. It's all, in the system. There's checks and balances for everything. Not saying that obviously there's cases all over the country where things have been abused by different people, and you're going to have that, I guess, from time to time. But we are very transparent here, and you can see anything that we have. That's it.
Okay. Does the board questions for Joe concerning the grant?
I feel like whatever equipment the police department needs, the only thing is, I don't agree with the pole mounted license plate readers, but license plate readers on the police, on the cars, drones, and of course, you're gonna need education on using those drones. Drone could be very convenient also for the fire department to use and for the EMS to use for different search and rescue. I'm sure we could even cooperate with some of the smaller municipalities as far as using the drones. So, I think it's something that could get a fair amount of use all the way around. And, I don't know, if the police department needs other, body cameras, for the officers or whatever other equipment, I think we should apply for whatever, is needed.
Yeah, that was kind of my recommendation of, instead of micromanaging them, let them fill out what they need as far as what's eligible in the grant, what they need. Maybe we don't do the pole mounted cameras, but I think they're gonna come in anyway.
Can I ask you a question, Frank, because I didn't quite understand exactly. You were saying that you thought the computers were a good idea, you were saying you thought that the drone was a good idea, and you said you didn't think the pole ones, what did you say about the car mounted ones? Which was that?
If that's, that's, I feel like that's a valid, yes.
Yeah, that was
That's
okay.
a valid thing because.
Yeah, I
you know,
wasn't understanding if
they
that
use
was
it in
part of the good or the bad.
particular situations, not just a static camera that's
Yeah, we've already
recording
got
everything.
one car with cameras on it, the sheriff's department has.
Yeah, I'm just curious what we think the difference are between the car mounted cameras and the pole mounted cameras.
Location.
I'm sorry?
Location's about the only difference, I believe. One would be on a car, one would be on a stick.
Right,
I mean,
right.
that was my understanding from Officer
Yeah,
Howard.
they do the same things. And the thing that brought this really to our attention, we've had several hit and run accidents. We're always putting stuff on Facebook. I'm assuming probably half of the people here have Ring doorbell cameras for some reason, and they're not facing your house usually, right? They're facing out to catch other people doing things wrong, and the public has them, so therefore we can utilize those also. People submit them to us all the time. We request them and people give it to us. People put other people walking through their yard on Facebook, no permission of anybody, and just somebody walking and they're catching them on their camera. These cameras aren't facial recognition cameras. They aren't anything like that. They, when the plate goes by, they snap a quick picture of the license plate and the vehicle. We're not getting drivers, we're not getting passengers, but several of these, we had somebody run over the actual pole at the corner of the bridge, and we're looking at Dunkin' Donuts cameras that are grainy and spending hours and hours and hours of time when something like that vehicle leaving, we would know right away. Just put our hand.
I guess cars in my store a lot asking for my footage.
Yeah, and nothing stops me from parking a police car, I guess, at the end of the bridge and monitoring every car that goes by, right? But we wouldn't do that. There's no general reason for us to do that. So I just want to make sure everybody understands, these are not facial recognition cameras. They're not cameras that follow you through the village. They are a camera that's going to read the license plate and store it. And then if something happens and we have an accident or a hit and run or whatever, Bennington just found 2 juveniles who stole cars and was, wreaking havoc all over the city of Bennington, and luckily got to them before something else bad happened, right? All because of the plate cameras. Now, they may have flock down there or whatever. I know there's some controversy here. That's not what we're talking about here. Different capabilities. If we have an accident, we can go back and search the system for the date and the time and see what vehicle went through there. And anything matching the description that somebody gave us, that's what we use it for. And again, there's checks and balances on everything. I just want to make sure we understand what we're talking about.
I thought it was explained very well by Officer Howard.
Okay. I apologize. Again, I wasn't here for that.
I talked to county IT and got kind of the same story from Brendan. He couldn't join the meeting because he's in a church thing, but he said that unrelated to the village, I don't want to blow their thing up, but the county sheriff's looking to put a whole bunch of these cameras through the county for the same reason. And they're looking at the Verkada cameras because same thing, it's all logged and they can see who logs in and who runs what searches. And even Brendan's like, we haven't got time to sit here and watch specific things. Unless you want to go, unless you're looking for something. And then it's all logged, who ran the search, why they ran the search, it's all logged in.
Mr. Mayor?
Where could they be located in the village? I mean, the major thoroughfares through the village are owned by the state, not by the
Yeah, and we could have
village.
all Vestal, Endicott, all those people have, all those municipalities have them on state. But we also have village-owned Whiting and different poles in the village. So we would look to talk to the state. And if we can't do that, then we look at different options. And if it's not feasible, it's not feasible. We would want to put one probably on 96. We would want to put one near the bridge.
I know IT was saying, you know, the sheriff's department came to them with kind of the same thing that you guys came to about. There's people coming through Tioga County because there is no cameras. So. And they're in every county around us. Rusty?
I hear that, although that does not, we're looking at the audience, that the audience are constituents, and that doesn't make them feel better about what they think about privacy and how we want our government and our state to work, to know that the county is going to have them all over the place.
I'm not here because I'm objecting to
You're
it.
not
So
here
don't
to-
make that assumption that everybody's here because they don't want it.
Yeah, we.
I didn't say that. Please don't direct.
You did.
Joe, I do have one question.
Yes.
One of the people that reached out to me about possible AED, what is your position on that? Would it be necessary for your cars? Because they were asking about placement in maybe the pool and other places. Would that be part of this COPS grant if we were able to get that?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said.
AED machines, because I know we have a lot of outdated in the village. I just said I would ask about.
We actually, again, we applied for a grant, and we got a grant, and got some AEDs not too long ago, for at least for our police department. And one of our AEDs ended up down here for, I don't know, a year or whatever until the village. I didn't look at that in the grant. I don't know if that's in there. I've heard.
I
So
never,
so
I
there's
haven't
a
seen anything
possibility for that.
concrete.
So Lieutenant Parker says that is in that grant, so yeah, there's a possibility of that too.
My question would be, because I know the pool is in need of one, would it be able to be transferred there, or does it have to strictly go towards police usage?
I don't know. It's a law enforcement technologies grant, so that doesn't mean that we can't get one and replace theirs with one that we already have, maybe. I don't know, as long as that would be legal or ethical. I can't answer that, I'm sorry. I'd have to do a little research.
No, I appreciate it. I just said I would bring it up. And I
Yeah.
did.
Rusty, we good?
I don't know if we have interest in any of the information, but information is what we should have. I spent quite a bit of time on the document today, talked to some police department. And there are a number of things that you can do and can't do. There's also an entire section of questions asking, where people ask questions, can I do this, can I do that? And they explain what you can do and what you can't do. You can't do any vehicles, you can't do any weapons, you can't do any tasers. You can do AEDs. In fact, it specifically mentions them, various life-saving equipment, including trauma kits, AEDs, et cetera. So you can do them. You can do radios, you can do a bunch of different drones, and then there's a number of other things that one could do. So if you have some questions about them specifically, I'm not going to tell you, but if somebody does, ask me and I'll tell you if I know what I have.
Do you happen to know what AED costs? I'm just.
Well, I asked that to some people. Um,
Between 2 and 3K.
It was, the number I got from, and these are not definitive, was maybe $3,000. And it was, the police, if they had to have some more, you could do anything you want. It depends what you're trying to do with the monies of the grant. If you had extra money or what money you weren't sure where you want to spend it, you could have, I think they have 3 now. They'd like to have 6. They'd like to have one in the station, one in every car. They'd like to have a bunch of things if that was the priority. Like, fair enough? But
Then the other thing that county IT stressed was to make sure that we're pricing out the correct laptops for the cars, just so they seamlessly work into their system.
Mike, was that about that quote for 16 grand? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because he said the ones that the county buys are.
Yeah,
That grant-
that's not even, that's nowhere near accurate by the time we would need mounts and everything.
That number was there for a particular reason, and it is not the realistic number. That is just a number from a company in Canada to buy, whatever the number was, 6 computers, and it has none of the other things that have to come with the computers. The Motorola quote, which is actually a pretty good quote, was around 40 grand for 6, and it was around 16 or 20 for the computers, and then the other for all the extra things you have. So that company in Canada won't be supplying the necessary things to make the computers.
Yeah, his point was just like, if we're gonna get a grant, we might as well get what we need to get, you know what I mean?
We need it.
Yeah, we should cut back. Now, does, training, can that be included in the grant as far as for any of the equipment?
Yes.
And then the question
And
is,
obviously for drones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't just get a drone, I pick Matt and say,
Fly
okay, go,
that.
go fly that out back. We have things that we have to do for law enforcement, they go to school,
You need a
get
power-
certified.
So it'd be included in the grant.
if I might, Rick, can I go? If on the section of questions that are often asked, 90, 80, 90, 100 questions, some of them are about, can that be used for that? Yes, it can be used to train on something that is available for the grant. The training on that can also be done. Some of the things you can't do are use it on anything you've already bonded for, approved, there was three things, three ways they said it. So it has to be something new. You can't have already put it in for something you did. Now that doesn't mean that we can't necessarily, but once we put the grant in, that doesn't mean we can't then, after that fact, or if we get approved and we put it in, we get approved in October, it doesn't mean we can't buy that stuff if it works out and the rules are such, and in advance of getting the money, that can be done, but we couldn't tonight, before we do the grant, say, okay, we're gonna buy these computers or this and that, here's how we're gonna do it, and then ask for it. I'm not taking any opinions, I'm just trying to give you guys all the info I can give you the best I can.
That's normal grant stuff. So, we want to let them elect us. Go ahead.
I have some questions. So some of the quotes for the drone were DFR, drone as first responder. And so that's not the kind of thing you're talking about getting as a drone. You're talking about getting a drone that you're gonna send somebody to police school to become a pilot to be able to fly.
Yes.
And it's not gonna have any AI capabilities or, to,
Well, yes.
Sorry, so, yeah, AI is a really large, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So everyone's been slapping AI on everything because it's like a free money thing, you just slap AI in your company and like suddenly it's worth a lot of money. So there's like shoe companies out there like Allbirds that said they're doing AI now, so they slap AI in the company and they're worth a lot of money. So anytime you see anything that says AI, be very skeptical, it's not AI. It does lots of stuff. Before this was machine learning, so everything was machine learning, already machine learning. So everything says AI, I know it says that, it's confusing. So DFR is a type of, they're also slapping on a bunch of stuff now. So it's drone as a first responder is what it means. And there are some drones where you can click a button and you get special clearance from the FAA and that drone will fly to where an emergency happens. So suppose like a campus has a bunch of call boxes, they could pay for a very expensive drone, click a button, and that would be drone as a first responder. They're also slapping on all the drones now because it's cool and it makes a lot of money. But that's not what we're applying for. That's so far out of our price range, it is high watering. So we're just talking about a drone that someone has to go fly manually. So yes, we have to have, because we're flying in a public safety or a commercial capacity, we have to go get a license for it. Yes, we have to get a pilot's license. We have to apply for special authorization to fly outside line of sight. This will be just a drone that a camera in the sky, have thermal vision on it, that's it. So it'll be the same as if we bought a thermal pair of binoculars or someone in a helicopter, I'm sure you've seen like someone usually like that. So that's what we'll get at this.
do you have a quote for that? Because what you got a quote for was just the sort of autonomous DTF one that had the remote pilot.
Yeah, that drone, you can pay for someone else to remote it. Autonomous would mean that it could fly itself. You can pay someone else to fly it for you if we wanted to. That's the quote that we got. So the quote that we got is for the drone that someone has to fly. It's not in any way autonomous. We're not getting a drone that has any autonomous launching or landing or anything capability. So we fly it away into the sunset, it'll keep going. We'll never find it again. But yeah, so the drone that we're going to get is the type, like it's basically the competitor to the DJI Matrice 30T. That's the one that the state police have. It's the one that the sheriffs have. It's the leader capability, flight time, and all the stuff, but we can't buy it because it's Chinese. So this is the American competitor to it that basically ripped off all the same features that we're interested in, which is thermal tracking at night, which is what we're looking for.
Is that in a different section?
No, that's this quote, the quote that I sent you, it's all the quotes, they're all for the same thing. There's no, I didn't ask for any quotes for, it says DFR on it because it's the hot new term in drones and quadcopters and stuff like that. So they call it drone as first responder, but someone has to fly it. They will not fly it.
Well, in the information it provided said that it can be remotely flown.
Yes.
And so is that you're talking about like a different section of it?
No, that's two
Not
different
that one.
things. Autonomous would mean that it can fly by itself and track a person. There is technology out there that let it fly without a pilot, and that would be autonomous. But remotely flying it is, there's still a person that has to look at it, make sure to not crash into a tree or have for light bulbs. So you can pay someone else to fly it if you want to. For some reason, I don't know. So you can pay them you launch it, and then you can pay them to fly it and track a person or something, or provide some updates, but there's still a person flying it. It's not autonomous. They do sell an autonomous drone, Axon Television, but we're not anywhere near.
We're not looking.
But it's the quote that you
Yes.
got is the one, and so it can do all that stuff, and that's the one you would get. You're just saying you won't use it that way?
No, you're totally on different pages. So you're saying, you're asking about an autonomous drone. Autonomous is a completely separate set of capabilities than a remote drone.
Well, I'm asking about the specific quote you got
Yes,
for the
we did not get any quote for
drone
anything
that
autonomous.
says it can do that stuff.
Yes, it can. They want to sell you a DFR drone because it's really expensive and they'd like to display those capabilities, so they are offering to give us a demo, but it's not anything that we can get. It's not something we can get with this grant, so it's not something we're looking for. But yes, it's in there because that's their big money maker. It's as if you go to the dealer and they show you the really nice car, they want to sell you that. That's their bread and butter, but we're here to buy a Honda Civic, so.
So where's that one, like where's the price and where's that model?
I said that to you, that's what's included.
Is that the $30,000 quote?
Yes.
How much would an autonomous one cost just for
So I asked the guy,
giggles?
and it's one of those things that you ask, you can't afford it. So I asked him, and he doesn't want to say because of course it's really expensive. So it's like the salesman that comes over to your house to try to sell you windows, and they don't want to tell you how much it is until the end because it's like some eye-popping number. So I asked, like, is it 100,000? Is it 200,000? Is it? And he's like, keep going. So it's really it's incredibly expensive.
That is so far out of our budget.
This is like stuff that like LAPD buys because someone's shooting off a gun and they want to go see where they're shooting off a gun before cops get there. This is a totally different problem we're solving.
I want to answer a question that more may come up about, and that we'd asked last time, and this is in the question and answer from the grant people. Question 61, when selecting equipment to apply for, do we need an estimated cost and a general type of equipment, or do we need specific make and model numbers of the equipment? For example, can we put a drone in a cost estimate, or do we need specifics of DJI, model, da, 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 da? Now, not picking on you, but the impression we got last week was that we had to have exact quotes, that we weren't allowed to just say, oh, we want 40,000 for a drone. The answer to that is yes, estimated cost and type of equipment is fine. We understand though that means you don't have to have an exact quote, but do some due diligence, get an idea of how much they cost, of how much you're going to spend, and don't jerk us around. Don't ask for 100 grand when you're only going to spend 50. Don't do that. But estimated is fine. We don't have to have an exact quote or an exact model.
Put it in the bid,
Put in a grant
put it in the grant.
To get to the grant,
to apply. Eventually we will.
No, but that's going to be the question here of a number of things. Do we have this quote? Do we have that quote? Do we have this exact? We don't have to have it.
So we can just say around 40 grand for a drone.
Yeah, but we have to do our due diligence to say
Yes.
someone would sell us a
Right.
drone.
To make sure that's realistic.
No, we're not.
So we want that. We need to have a Motorola quote that's about 40 grand, so that was our estimated cost. Or even though we don't have to say we're doing that or put that in.
We're not going to submit. We just say,
It's good to have that information if we're asked.
Yeah, they like to see it just to know that we're doing our due diligence.
So no, you're getting real numbers.
So I interrupted you. You had more questions here.
All the equipment, the Axion Enterprise for the cameras, the Skydio, and the Motorola solutions, those are all these AI-enabled companies. And all their equipment does have these features that everybody's concerned about with their Fourth Amendment rights, about being surveilled without warrant. And I'm concerned about that, like about everybody's privacy. And I don't want the Village of Owego partaking in that, in just like police say.
I'm sorry, Laura, the companies are you talking about body cameras or are you talking about?
No, these are the companies that you've gotten quotes from for the equipment that you are asking to, purchase through the grant. So the Axion Enterprise is the
Yeah. So
whole cameras.
I'll go back a little bit to earlier. You should be very skeptical of a lot of things you read online. They say AI on them, but they're doing this for investor money. Like your phone says it does AI search for contacts now, but it's kind of silly, right? They say AI on everything, but it's not really AI. So like they say like, oh, you do an AI car search. What it's doing is it's called OCR, optical character recognition. So a lot of things they say are AI now are not really AI, but they will sell you some products that do some AI. So like Axon will do generative police reports. So you could pay Axon to generate a police report and then you fill out the names. They offer that. That's not something that we can afford. I'm just going to be like totally honest. So or something that we're looking for. We're looking for very simple pieces of these stuff, but they sell everything. The same way that like a car dealer will sell you the Porsche 911. I'd like to buy it, but it's not gonna happen. So we're looking for like small pieces of that. So our body cameras can do way more. They can track. They can do all the stuff. We don't pay for any of that. It's really expensive. Same thing with the drone. They do lots of other things. You can have a person remotely pilot it. It's probably really expensive. So the other one that you mentioned, Motorola. So the only quote we got from Motorola is for vehicle recognition. I don't know if it does person recognition. They do sell, Motorola sells everything, like 3M. They're just a really big company. So they sell body cameras and we use them for our CAD software. So they sell all sorts of things, but that's out of the scope of this. We're just asking for vehicle recognition, license plate recognition. That's it.
Like any company, they sell a million different things.
Do you have any like specific concerns that you'd like me to look into or talk about?
Well, we haven't fully learned what it is that you're asking for. It's jumped around a lot from having security just for the building and in the car cameras at one time. And at one time, it was said that we absolutely just need the laptops and the rest is just,
The
what
rest is
we could
fluff.
get with the
The
grant.
rest is fluff. It's stuff that'll help us do our job, but it's not stuff that we've had in the past. It's not stuff that we absolutely have to have. We can put guys on the street. We can go track down cars that hit mailboxes or hit somebody else. One that got T-boned there that we still haven't found and asked for public assistance. And all these are just tools that help us do our job. And will help us do it a little quicker and we can manage it a little better. That's all. We have a $125,000 grant that we can apply for. That's not a match grant. And it's a $75 million grant that the governor office is doing. So somebody's getting the money and they allocate every police department in the state to apply for it. With that, whatever their limitations, some of them are $10 million that some departments can get. Ours is 125. It doesn't cost us, and somebody is going to get the money. It's already allocated. So why would we not try to get other things that'll help us do our job and make the village residents safe?
Yeah.
That's what it's really all about. So here's what we're looking for. We're looking for the computers because we've had them for years. I got a grant for them a long time ago, no cost to the village. We got them in our vehicles. Now everybody is doing computer-aided dispatch systems. We cannot survive without it. So yes, we absolutely have to. When IT says, we're not going to allow you guys on our system anymore with your computers because we can't guarantee the safety of that system, that somebody can't hack it or get into it. So that's why we need this. This grant came along. And other than that, we would have been scrambling, trying to figure out how to do it. I don't know how we would have done it. We would have figured it out some way. So the grant came along. So there's $125,000 that's sitting there for Owego PD that doesn't cost us anything. It can help train the guys with those certain tools, and it can give us those tools to make the village safer. So yes, we want to apply for that 125. But if we don't use it, as in the last tech grant was $50 million, and I heard almost half of it got given back that didn't get used. We've already spent the tax money on it. You guys have all paid in the system for it, and it's just sitting there. Why not utilize it for tools that will help us do our job and make everybody here safer?
We can spend it on lighting. And that's a safe thing that was needed around the station.
Don't think that's gonna be on it, but maybe it is.
It is on
I
there.
think lighting-
Lighting systems is on there,
Yeah.
And
But
and-
it's-
For a vehicle, like an
but
emergency.
it doesn't
Talking
say in
about-
detail what it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't say vehicle or building, doesn't say.
well, I'm pretty certain it's gonna be,
Not for.
it's gonna be emergency vehicle lighting. That's what it's gonna be.
Right, emergency vehicle lighting is included, but that is in a different section. But you can get radios, and that was the thing that was mentioned that was
The county
needed.
just did some $90 million grant. We got everybody in December, all the radio towers have been being built. We all got radios that are like $7,000 a piece. For all the cars, for all our portables, all supplied by the county. That would be a waste of our money.
Okay, so you have all new radios already, and you have all new AEDs too?
I
You
don't know
said
what you
got
mean
a
by-
recent
we have-
grant,
We have all new radios, yes. I don't know what you mean by all new AEDs. We have,
or you got a grant?
New one, the rest are serviceable.
Can you say, what do you have for AEDs?
We have one newer AED, and the rest of them are serviceable AEDs in service and working.
you have to buy a battery once in a while.
Yeah.
If your point is that we already made that point, that yes, we could use money, or we could do it. If that was the preference, we could use money for more AEDs, we could use money for more radios. We have all the county's free radios, we have some AEDs. But yes, there are things that could be used, money could be used for. Yes, that's correct. That is correct.
The chief of police running and managing the police department.
Does
for
be
the most part.
preferable.
I know the village board does that too, when you manage me and hiring and firing and all that stuff. But as a manager of the police department, this is where our money can best be spent to assist the public and assist us in our job. That's what I look at. I'm not looking, I mean, we can break this down forever to whatever's on there if we want to spend the time and make contingencies for everything. If you don't want to give me this, give me that. Really, all we're here for, I think, is to say, can I apply for a $125,000 grant that doesn't cost the village any money? And we have a timeline for this, so that's what I'm asking. And we can, if you don't like the products that I want to purchase later, we can probably figure that out at a different time.
Because the timeline is next week, we got to
Well, I don't agree with the purchasing or wanting to set the goals of the grant of what we send in to say that we want pole mounted readers. That's not what I want. I prefer for the department to get these more classic policing things like the body cameras.
We have body I got a $35,000 body camera grant that I supplied all my officers with body cameras and storage. So that would be a worthless product for us right
Body cameras are worthless.
now. If I could, no, they're not worthless, Laura, but we are well.
For
equipped
this
with them
grant.
already. They would sit in the closet being unused.
I could make a silly point, maybe 10, not that long ago, 5 years ago, body cameras were seen as new age technology, and people would say, you guys don't need body cameras, and same thing for any new piece of technology that comes out.
They will take away your privacy.
Right, and say, same thing, obviously we have to use them with respect, like any good tool, and same thing with
That's a
tasers.
concern. I guarantee 50% of us, when we walk out of here, our phone is gonna have all kinds of stuff on it about plate readers, because somebody's listening to it. It's just
Right.
part of what we deal with now. So
So,
in the police department, there's checks and balances on everything.
People dragging all of us all the time.
but we're gonna look for the best tech to do the best job we can, which includes like tasers and body cameras, and pole cameras or whatever other kind of cameras, stuff like that. So yes, of course we go.
So, once again, I think that this stuff, I want our residents and constituents to understand that the concern of privacy and where we're going in this country and this world is a legitimate concern. And so everything you do, you have to decide, is this one the one, or do we want to do nothing because we're worried about it? Because we're already inundated with it. In fact, every system we have now is completely hackable. Every single thing we do, every computer we have, every phone, the bad guys can get it, China can get it, they can put on AI. That doesn't mean that we should just give in and let everything go, but we're not unsensitive to that idea. I'm not insensitive to that idea about privacy. Bugs the crap out of me, but still, we have to balance all these things. That's my speech there.
Do we have any more discussion about?
Well, I think we need to keep in mind too, that same with other grants the village has gotten, we don't buy anything. Nothing, no equipment is approved until after the grant is given to us. And just like with electric cars, solar equipment, all this stuff, it's how we actually purchase it is flexible because of what's available and what we feel we need at the time. So that's not the decision tonight.
Yeah, tonight we're just saying, do we ask for this money or not? And then, what do we want to
debate again in the future.
Yeah, right. And then do we want to put any restriction on it, like say, don't apply for the full cameras?
Next week.
What you got, Matt?
Hi, sorry, you guys asked a question last week about payments and whatnot. So our question answer period is closed. We're not, the state doesn't like to answer any more questions because they don't want to change how the grant works. So these are all like off the record. I just asked someone from the help desk how this works because we're new to it. So one of the questions was, it's on the last page, so this looks like the same thing, but it's not. This was a test to make sure you guys were reading all the stuff I've been printing out. You guys will fail. But yeah, so I called them and asked, how long does it take to get reimbursed? What happens if you don't use all the money? And the question is basically what we thought. So it's fast. So the help desk person said, as long as we do what we've been approved to do, as long as we follow all the rules, which is pretty simple, buy stuff that they told us we can find, don't find anything extra. We submit it and it should be reimbursed within 2 to 4 weeks. The only time that this changes is when they're deliberating on the state budget, because they could technically take that period to not refund the LD Tech grant. So this is all unofficial, so if it blows up, they don't want to take any responsibility for it. But they basically said, if we order all of our things between January and April, we're at a really good chance to get really quick reimbursement. There's a small chance they could choose to not refund the LD Tech grant, but it's small. But they do have the ability to, in April, say we don't want to fund this anymore, and then do not get payments for those things. So that was a question. To answer it, it's very quick to get reimbursed. The last question was, what if we don't spend all the money? Well, they said, you don't have to spend all the money if you don't want to. Obviously, the closer you are to abiding by the terms of your grant approval, the more likely you are to continue to get more grants in the future. So they're saying they can't punish you for not spending money, but if you make changes and you do things that were not in the original approval, they didn't say they would penalize us, but they wouldn't view it nicely, so that they might choose to go with another municipality that follows instructions more than.
Mike, we
Get black money.
Mike, we brought that up last meeting.
Yeah.
When you ask for a grant and then you don't follow through on it, you're on they won't ever tell you can't have it, they won't tell you any of that, but you're on the wrong pile the next time.
I mean, honestly, public uproar puts us on our own file anyway.
So they did say that we can change, so if we want to change stuff, they said that's expected, so the prices will go up and we have to resubmit.
Yeah, of course we can.
If we want to switch something out, we can. They said that's pretty normal. But I asked if we wanted to switch like a totally different line item. They said, yeah, that's okay. It obviously still has to be approved, but they don't like it. But depending on what it is, it might be totally fine. So we can still make changes as we go on. Suppose that like some product is no longer available, we have to choose a different vendor. They said that's pretty expected.
Ron, what do you think?
I actually had a question for you, Mr. Howard, or Officer Howard. I
Oh,
think to
man.
clarify some of Laura's concerns, is that license plate reader upgradable to like a flock that we're scoping in the future? I think
No.
that's where that question is going.
No, they're like, we could buy a new one, but they're not giving, we're never gonna get something for free. They're not
Well,
gonna.
no, I'm wondering if we buy it, would
Yeah.
there be an update we could do to it in the future, or is that incapable of that technology?
If you're asking me as in my professional opinion, can it do it? Yeah, they're all about sales, they're sales driven. So could it do it? Technically, yes, they're absolutely never gonna give us anything for free.
But that is something that we would have to go through this whole process again
Yeah.
to do any of those additions.
They won't give us any, like our body cameras can talk to our CAD software and they want $5,000 an account. They're not giving us anything for free.
Like you had the reference of the car. I can buy a Civic with nothing,
Yeah.
I can buy the add-ons at some other point.
They're not giving us add-ons for anything. So
Right.
same
If I
thing,
choose to spend the money,
but they're not, this isn't something that we can pay for later. They want to sell us a new camera. Each camera is like $12,000. Pretty crazy, so they're not.
flock stuff I do. I mean, it's gotten such bad press and they handle information badly, they're being sued, people are dropping them, it's crazy. I have no desire to ever pursue that route.
Right, so that was the other question you guys asked, that's on the second to last page. Motorola, or you guys asked about Motorola security handling. So I asked them about their auto logging, what they use this data for, if they use it for training, new data. They said no, which is, I talked to them earlier on, but I wanted to make sure, so I got an email. They don't use our data for training, they're not gonna take our, anything that we share and share without our permission.
My understanding when I researched that company is we have control over our level as to
Yes.
who has access and where it goes.
Yes, and if we decide to share with another agency, if they send something for someone, they're clearing our data,
Right.
we'll have
We
logs.
have to
of
give
it.
those permissions.
Yes, we'll know.
We do that now with the crime analysis center in Binghamton. Right? You know, we call down there and say, we have this, can you help us with it? It doesn't help us here in the village because there's no cameras. There's cameras on the highway, there's cameras everywhere else, and they can access, and we have to supply a case number, a reason, why we're looking into it before they'll share any of that or look it up for us.
Most of my questions, TK, are just for clarification for the public, so.
Yeah.
Like I try to think of what they would be thinking of, and
Right.
I try to make it easier for them to transition through this.
Yeah, makes sense.
Thank you.
And once again, the bad guys, can steal anything. Could somebody in the future, we, our police, our board, decide they want flocks? Sure they could. But that's not what we're gonna do, and that's not what we're gonna do
I
now.
don't think it would be this board.
Nope, we're not doing that. There's another piece I have for you for that.
Me personally, I don't like that either. Pole ones, I like the cars more, but I mean, it's still not ideal, but I think we have a responsibility as a board to make the police department have as many opportunities as possible to be safe and efficient at their job.
So is that what you think, Ron? Computer good, drone good, car okay, pole not good?
Yeah, I mean, Paul seems to be heck no for most people. I mean, the car is a little more palatable, but it's still questionable to some. But I mean, I would be more comfortable with the car than definitely with the pole.
And we have car readers that we approved $16,000, I'm making up a number for a fact, $16,000 several years ago to buy a car reader. We have car readers, we already have.
Definitely have at least one.
They have
And
one.
we decided to do that, we decided that was a good thing to do.
They have one. They could use more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we struggled about coming up with enough money to buy that. We did, but we don't have money ever to throw around, but we came up with the money because we thought it was a good idea. Now we have the opportunity to do it without the taxpayer money.
I think the drone is a phenomenal idea, especially considering our flood history and trying to find people who may be missing. The technology has come so far since 2011. I think we'd be ignorant to not go after free money that, well, not actually free, we paid into it.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't we get a piece of that as a small village?
And Matt has given us the best he can about the safeguards that we possibly can have so that information can't go somewhere. A good thing about the drones, and it says in here, one of the questions is, can we use our drone and someone else use their drone in interagency cooperation and mutual aid with Vestal, with the sheriff, with somebody? And it says, yes, not only can you do that, but the state highly encourages it for that common use.
Something like that, like a flood or whatever, the more the better. Looking for people.
What do you, Kath, what do you think? You don't have to say. I'm sorry.
Just taking it all in.
No, I just wanted, I asked him what he thought, I asked her, I'm just asking you what you thought, if you felt like throwing it out, what you prefer to do or not do.
I think we've talked this to death. I would move that we call a vote.
Or we'll have a motion.
You're not gonna do public comment first?
Public comments at the end tonight.
You're gonna take a vote before you listen to the public?
We heard them last week.
For 2 hours. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we allow the police to go out for this grant as proposed.
And are we going to give any instruction on what we want done?
I think that's redundant since we have to go through that one if we even get the grant.
It's not redundant.
We can always say we don't want it.
If we go out for a $50,000 thing in this grant and we decide we don't want to do it, that's the thing that Matt's telling us that they don't want us to do.
I understand it, rightfully so.
Yeah.
If we ask for 125, we take 70, that means somebody else got duped out of that money. I understand why they want us to use all the funds.
So, but I'm saying we need to specify what we want to do with it.
It's easier to specify what we don't want to do than what we do.
Could be that. That could be the way to do it.
I go back to school, raise my hand. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
supposed to raise my hand or. Anyway, so we don't have to choose between car and pole right now. We just need to apply for it, right? And it's also a possibility that they could say, we're gonna fund everybody at 80%, which is like the big thing I keep saying, like, we shouldn't, if we just want computers and computers are the uncontentious thing. If we say we want $40,000 for these computers, they say, we're gonna fund everybody at half because everyone had the bright idea to apply for as much money as possible. We're gonna look really silly because we're gonna be able to buy half of the computers that we need. So there's no downside to applying for everything. And then if we decide we don't want that, we can move down to the next thing that'll make us more efficient.
We're not talking about not applying for $125,000. We're just talking about if we're going to say what we want you to apply for here and now.
Oh, yeah.
Or what we don't want you to.
Can you just be generic and be like,
Yeah.
license plate readers?
Right, yeah.
Can you run a car or something?
Because that's up to us where we decide to put them. The state has no say into where we put them or where we think it's best. So we want to put them somewhere weird, we could, but yeah, that's up to us.
They're actually the same cameras, right? They go in the car, they go on.
They're not the same cameras, cars, and poles.
So again, I would hope that you guys would consider what the guy with 34 law enforcement, years of law enforcement had. And another one with how many? 36. We won't count Matt because he's a baby. But
They're old.
But there's 70-some years law enforcement training sitting here next to you. And we're telling you what would be best for the village on our opinions. So not that you guys don't know what you're talking about and all that, but legitimately, there is no difference between a license plate reader that gets mounted on the back of my car, only my car may not be in the right spot at the right time to get the vehicle that we need to solve the crime, where better chance of somebody exiting the village on one side or the other. And I understand public concerns. So again, we don't have to, I guess you guys can vote on it later, you can vote on it now, but I'm hoping that somebody will put a motion forward that we apply for this grant with LPRs, and then we can figure out the rest later. We just want to be able to apply for this grant. And I'm telling you with my experience, and I don't know everything. There's a ton of people that know way more than me. My wife tells me all the time, she knows way more than me. So I understand that, but you have a lot of law enforcement experience sitting here and telling you what would be best for that. And you should minimum consider that, I would think. But I'll leave it up to you guys for now and I'll keep quiet.
So that's why I'm trying to ask various trustees whether or not that last piece, that pole piece is a deal breaker for them. That's what I'm trying to find out. But we're dancing around. Nobody wants to say, nobody wants to make a motion. I'm trying to find out, what do you think? What are we going to do about that piece?
I'm talking.
Are we?
I've been trying to make a motion, just trying to word it properly. To make
Okay.
the lawyers happy, the police happy. I move that we would approve them to go out for this grant to purchase our computers, the drone, and some of the LPRs.
What was the last piece?
LPR,
You said some word before some. Did you say some? I didn't get you.
some of the LPRs.
Some of the LPRs.
Generic.
Really, like, yeah, we're most likely not gonna get the whole 125 because everybody's asking for it. So we probably won't even have that as an option on our plate, but if we do happen to get the full amount, they should be able to do the job properly.
Okay, so we got a motion, we got a second.
I'll second it. I'm not truly in favor of the license plate readers on a stationary basis. I would be much happier with them on the car like we have, because that is something we use. But I think it's important that we get the laptops and possibly the drone. I do feel like, you know, we have had missing persons in the past, and maybe having an extra one would help. And I don't think they're gonna be buzzing around looking at anyone's bedroom windows. You know, I think that would be a lot of effort, and they don't have that much time. So I will second it.
Anything else? Vote on that, baby. Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Christie.
I do need to clarify one more time, sorry, about the motion, before I say. It says that we're going to apply for LTRs. It doesn't say pole or car, doesn't specify what we're going to do. Will we have later the ability to make that decision? Yes.
No.
Yes.
And yeah. Move forward, work with Glenda and county IT, make sure you have the right concoction of stuff. And get that application. Our next thing is the discussion on the part-time court clerk compensation. Fran, it's a little update. I know we were talking about how many hours this person maybe is expected, estimate.
When I reread this,
Yeah, Judge Sons.
it sounds like he wants some of the previous hours paid, and it doesn't say that. But I would recommend that we add this part-time court clerk to be used as needed with assistance to the current court clerk, and to fill in when she's absent. What the judges said in with this future possible use, it would be $1,000 to $2,000 a year. And I would recommend that we.
Mostly when Brooke is on vacation or sick.
Right.
Make a motion.
Yep.
What was our previous practice when the clerk took vacation?
I don't think they have court.
Fran, what's the motion?
To designate, let's see, what's her name here? Lynette, as assistant court clerk.
Lynette Nichols is her last.
Lynette Nichols, for, as an ad-needed basis to answer any questions that the current clerk does not know how to deal with, and to be available to fill in when the current clerk cannot be there.
And the judge recommends we pay her $30 per hour.
Yes.
$30 an hour is the rate that the judge would like?
That's what he says in his note.
I would really like to know how long this training process is, and how much he suspects us.
She's already trained.
Yeah, he said
She's already trained.
She's
the current
100%
clerk.
trained?
No.
But that's,
New girls now.
but that's what I want to know. How long are we on the hook for the training for this? I mean, we don't have to know what kind of money we're looking to invest. I understand the 2,000 a year for vacation and stuff of that sort. And we knew there'd be a curve here because Brooke has never done this
Yeah.
before.
Great. I think the judge said she's already got Brooke pretty much.
And I mean, we
Yeah,
still
the
don't know
current clerk is up
how
to stuff.
many hours that required. And I think it's our responsibility to let them know how much we're spending for this person.
This motion is not, did somebody second this?
I'm not willing to second until I get some other answers on the time.
Yeah, I mean, if it's $2,000 per year max, you'd be talking 66 hours,
Right.
basically at $30 an hour. So how much of that has she already used? I mean, obviously, if the other woman is on vacation, but we didn't.
The motion doesn't speak to how much is that we're gonna pay her in arrears or how much she's used. Doesn't speak to that at all, doesn't speak to
Right.
what the limit
That's not
will
what I
be, it doesn't speak
proposed.
to the money limit, doesn't speak to the hours limit, doesn't
Right,
speak
so
to any of
we
it.
still need more.
That's not a complete, that's not okay.
This is like giving a blank check right now. That's irresponsible. I mean, we've asked for this information, how many hours we're on the hook for already. I mean, we have to pay her. She's done the work. We knew there would be a training process. But we can't just go in blind. That's just irresponsible.
And are we setting, and without setting limits and parameters, are we basically hiring now for the court a clerk and a half?
I mean,
I know what was said there, but are we doing that? No. Because we're not,
We need more information.
we need to be more
We're
specific.
meeting in 2 more weeks.
We didn't budget for this year because we didn't think it was going to be an expense on the long-term spectrum. But I understand the reason, because we still need somebody to fulfill her vacation obligations. But I can't consciously give a blank check.
Want to go back to the drawing board?
I guess I'll have to
We have a meeting in 2 weeks.
move it forward
Mike,
to
Maybe
our,
we'll get the judge to go. That'll be great. Rusty.
And then a lot of times, like you say, between meetings, we need to be doing some of these things. So we need to get information, be finding out all this stuff about, what's your plan? What are the limits, blah, blah, blah. And we should be working in the next 2 weeks on what are we going to do with a long period of absence for our associate judge? Because we didn't put it in the budget because we were waiting to see how it was going to shake out. But now it needs to be addressed, and we should probably be looking at that in the next 2 weeks. So maybe in 2 weeks, we can
That is very true.
address that.
I just think.
so I'll table it till next time.
Any other department would have to use hard numbers.
Right.
Okay.
Did you?
Well, I think one thing that has been confusing is, the board members are all assigned different, departments to represent
Commissionership or
commissionership. And for the judge, there has not been any commissionership, but I understand that
That's true.
is because he is the actual employee of the village,
He's elected, yeah.
right? He's an elected official. So, yeah, okay.
it's still not a bad idea to have somebody be a liaison with the courts in some manner or form, even though we have less authority over him because he's elected.
Usually audits, that's enough.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
I do have one last thing that came up as an emergency with the sewer department. Their blower had gone. There is one sole proprietor that offers this service within a reasonable distance. We've used that in the past. It is gonna be $15,130.08. I would ask that we allow them to spend no more than 17,000, because I don't know if this is a hard number or if there's gonna be, I mean, obviously not tax since we're a municipality, I wouldn't think.
That's a sole source, right?
Right, we've had to work with them in the past, and he said if we don't get this, it's gonna really mess up our.
And it's under our
system.
25, 20.
Yeah, it's under
20 that we have to get a bid for.
Those, yeah. Place for us.
It's gonna be, he said it's in the reserve. He's not had the money in there. And Excelsior Blower Systems LLC is the company out of Blandon, PA.
Rusty.
Once again, when you say it's in reserve, then Nate isn't here to tell us, does that trigger something that we have to do, take it out of reserve?
But that's, if we have to do
I don't know if the stuff we sometimes want to do is legal. Can we approve this contingent on that we don't have any other requirements?
Yeah.
Is that what we want to do, Ron?
I would ask them to do, I mean, according to them, if this goes, the whole village is gonna have a lot of.
No, we want to do it, but making sure that we don't do something else. I would second that.
Okay. This is all contingent on who takes the money out of reserve account.
we do have the reserves.
It's not about not having it, it's about how we have to go about spending the reserve.
There's some easy ones for the sewer department that don't require all that because of the nature of what it is. Frank,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Rusty.
Yes.
Laura. Ron,
Yes.
and yes. Okay, last thing we got, public comment, got a bunch of people, so.
Are we gonna approve the minutes or save that for next
No,
time?
say that all next time.
Okay.
We'll do the usual sign things, we're not here all night. We're not even supposed to be here all night.
Hello, is it public comment now?
I would rather hear the audience first.
I didn't know, I can't see that there is an audience, I apologize.
I would rather hear the audience first, myself.
That's a good idea. Do we have anybody in the room that wants to?
Then,
I'd like to do it first.
So this is Tim Dice, 383 Front Street in Owego. I'd like to say, first of all, thank you for approving that and letting these guys go through and do their thing. I think, the three basic things, the computers to me are a no-brainer. The drone, with our daughter being a paramedic, I know firsthand some of the issues that they've run into in places without cell coverage, so therefore you have no GPS to tell people locations. So I think that's a great thing to do. I'm actually in favor of the pole cameras, I think for several reasons. One, we don't have police all the time, 24 hours a day. So you would have data in the middle of the night. The comment that says, hey, a lot of people know where pole cameras are, including the drug couriers. I'd like them to not want to drive through the village of Owego and go someplace else. So I view that as a positive. And I think we give away more of our private data every day. I'm sure Wegmans has a lot of embarrassing information about me and my wine store purchases. So don't want to go there. With the controls that he talked about in terms of the limited data time as far as the retention goes, needing authorization to go through and do searches for a legitimate purpose and having the audit, I think that's about the best that you can do for controlling just about anything. People can drive 100 miles an hour down the highway. We don't take cars away from everybody else because one or two idiots go through to abuse it. Feel the same way about, yep, as you say, so somebody somewhere is going to be a bad actor. I hope it's not you guys. So please do a good job and proceed. I'm really in favor of that.
All right, thank you. More public comment in the room?
Cindy Bobnick, 289 Front Street. I totally agree with them. These guys aren't on the road every day and they're not where we need them to be. These cameras will do the job for them. If somebody abducts a child and you have a license plate, it picks it up, it sends it to these guys. An elderly person gets in the car and drives, they find them a lot quicker. And it's not like they're reading somebody's document or their cell phone. It's a license plate. And we need to protect our community. Because there's people out here that aren't so nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Mark?
Mark Warfel, still, East Temple, still. I have two things. One, officially, is there any new information on the building located at Lake and Main, formerly Title Cafe, part of that, is long-term,
Yeah.
burn furniture?
So the land bank bought it and they're moving forward with the original project, but it's gonna take like forever.
Okay, because I heard that fell through.
It
And I
did
just-
with Munchco.
Masco's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the land bank purchased it from him to continue on with the original project. Retail on the first floor and then apartments on the other floors. So that's fairly recent.
Okay,
So I think they're
so
gonna have
that's gonna
somebody.
take a long time.
Yeah, they've got some grant money, so they're gonna start with the right work first. Because that's the major, issue with it, so.
and of course, when.
I know it's Pigeon Scoop, that's kind of number one. Right, that's a hazmat on the second floor.
Yes.
All right, structurally and environmentally.
Yeah.
Okay, so, follow-up to that, if that's gonna happen somewhere relatively soon, great, but if it's not, that thing that they put up that blocks off more than half of the sidewalk for now, I don't know, I was still a working man when they put that up. So, if I could do something about that, that'd be great.
The bricks are falling from the top and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That thing's there so they don't fall on people, but yeah. That's the first thing they're gonna attempt to fix.
Okay, great. Sounds like wheels are turning, speed of government,
Yes.
maybe I'll see it in my lifetime. Second question, same type of topic, the house at Main and
Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer.
Same thing, Land Bank owns it. They
Land Bank is-
demolished the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
They are gonna remodel the front of the house back to the historic house that it was.
Right.
And that project should be starting construction pretty soon.
Excellent, that's good news too. And regarding, right, I'll give you my opinion on the technical grant. First of all, I am thankful for Officer Howard, because both times you have been here, you have come with a great deal of information and answered a lot of questions before I can even ask them. So thank you for your commitment of being the tech nerd you profess to be. And I am all in with the laptops. And I am all in with the drones. So I'm going to give you the same position I gave last week. Buy 50 laptops. Buy 100 drones. I'm all in on those. I am still adamantly opposed to cameras. And yes, I understand. So Officer Howard, I'm going to use some of your information. The reason I'm opposed to them is because I'm opposed to having the vehicle mounted as a secondary choice. In your comments last week, you pointed out that on the vehicle mounted, same thing the chief said, the car might or might not be in the right location. They're subjected to much more environmental damage, erosion, long-term. And again, cameras on poles, I think that's an infringement, right, on my liberties and others' liberties. I understand the benefit of them. And statistically, the research I've done, they are an emerging tool. But I think the original estimate was 4 cameras, 2 main roads, both directions. I can tell you as a lifelong resident of this village, you can get through this village a whole bunch of different ways, eluding those cameras. So I don't see them as our answer yet. I think, we should buy some other stuff. As long as the money that we've already invested, we get it back, great. And lastly, Rusty, I appreciate you forcing this board to drill down and restate the details so it's crystal clear what it is you are all deciding. So I think some people don't appreciate that. I do. Thank you. Thank you.
There we go.
Hi, Michelle Tulamella from 125 Chestnut Street. Appreciate the police and all they do in my neighborhood, and it's a lot. So the one thing I wanted to say is I remember last week there was a lifeguard here who said they need an AED for the pool. If this grant could be used to somehow move an AED to the pool area, I think that would be a benefit to all of the village residents, because I'm a former EMT, drowning, all that kind of thing. It's important to make sure that there's an AED at the pool that works. They should not have to go to Price Chopper for their AED, and I will die on their head. Hopefully not.
Can I butt in a little bit there? So my daughter's a lifeguard at the pool. There is an AED there that works, that the light flashes green, that the battery is fine. I do not know what escape here from.
We donated that.
We couldn't pass our health department inspection without it there.
Can I say something else? I talked to Fred. Fred is our Department of Public Works. He manages the pool. They bought a new battery for it.
Okay.
This past week,
Okay.
it has been installed, I
The
understand.
health department will let us run the pool without.
Right.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
It does appear to be a working AED, so that is good too. I agree.
So the second thing that I wanted to talk about is this is another personal experience. My mom's a private pilot, also was an aeronautical engineer, retired. My drone concerns regarding the remote piloting. I know you said that that is an option for your drone. I would like it somewhere to be specified by this council that you cannot remote pilot that from another country. That is not okay. You have Lockheed Martin right there. You don't, that's airspace that we should not have somebody from one of the stands looking into. So I think that should be specified in the grant that that drone is piloted by an American.
If we bought an American drone, I guarantee it'll be one of our gentlemen in blue over there.
Please, yes, because should that be remote piloted, I think that would be like a national security issue at
I mean,
best.
like the weather balloon that floated across the country a couple years ago?
Yeah, that kind of thing. We don't really want that.
We shot that down 4,000 miles after it was over us.
I mean, the FAA, I don't know what their regulations are about that, but I would suggest that you guys look into that, because I'm pretty sure that we shouldn't do it.
Should be an officer.
So, I mean, I know they had that issue with Waymo, remember, where they were actually being piloted by people from the Philippines. You really don't want people from the Philippines flying over. So, as far as the pole mounted cameras, my issue with that really has to do with third parties obtaining the data. Like how that could work is like if you have an insurance company, right? That insurance company could want to know where we all go all the time because it could be like an issue with how much we would have to pay for insurance, whether we're driving, stopping, going, whatever, you know, our driving patterns could be accessed by an insurance company or any other third-party company who could get a hold of that data. I just would really like to make sure that data is locked down. Like, because that data should belong to the village and only the village. It should not be able to be accessed by third party. I think you should create a statute that says that in your village code. Like, it is really, really important that that data is only accessible by the police department and, you know, the state of New York authorities like fire rescue or whatever. But it shouldn't be able to, not even an insurance company, because, you know, you're driving late at night, you're tired, you drive through the village of Owego, they see you driving at 3 in the morning or whatever, then you raise questions on your insurance or something. I don't know. It just has the potential to be a mess if data gets used that way. And I think that's really all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Richard McGrew. I've lived in the area for 44 years. Thank you, Laura and Rusty, for all the questions that you asked. And thank you, Laura, for staying firm on this. I think that, you do have technology needs at the police department. That's right. And I'm glad that you put, thought into the presentation and everything. Definitely do need to have new computers that work with the county systems. As far as things like the drone and then especially the cameras, I think the biggest issue is with the data sharing and with, like she was saying, like with out-of-state entities and things that are not like the police department that gain access to the data. And not just Flock, but a lot of these other companies, including Motorola, I think they have data sharing where the data can be shared between different departments across the whole country, and also people who are not police, like private individuals. Insurance companies are just one of them. They have cameras at every Home Depot and Lowe's. Those are Flock. And then, of course, yeah, Wegmans has a different brand of cameras. There's all sorts of brands. But I don't think it's like the best use of funds. And also the person who's a lifeguard who talked about the AED at the pool. The last time that she saw it, it still wasn't fixed. I heard one of you said that it was. I hope that gets cleared up later. But I'm still opposed to the cameras. But I hope good that you got the thing done by the deadline and addressed it somehow. But thank you to Laura for staying strong on this, and I hope that more of you will raise these issues and talk to other people who know about technology besides just Officer Matt Howard, and try to gain other perspectives. Thank you.
Hi all, I'm the lifeguard who keeps showing her face. My name is Maddie.
That's what you're doing.
This is the first year that Bella has worked with us. She's lovely, love her to pieces. She's an incredible human. My colleagues and I test the AEDs regularly. This is my second year at the pool. This is the first time we've had an AED. Right. We did not have an AED last year. I was at the pool today. AED is still beeping. just so that you're aware.
Okay.
The battery is not fixed, AED is not in working order.
Did you let Fred know?
Yes, I text Fred almost every day. I'm not here as a lifeguard, I'm here as a concerned citizen and resident of Owego. I'm very much against ALPRs and really do feel as though that money could be spent in other ways. I also would like to point out that this is a reimbursable grant, so we have to front that money. This is not free money from the state, this is money that we have to spend and find up front. So all these luxury items that you guys have a wish list of are great, and I'm happy that you have these dreams. That's incredible for y'all. But I don't feel as though we should be pulling money out of thin air for these crazy dreams of you guys. So really just wanted to say that I'm against all of that and appreciate your attention to the AEDs.
Thanks. Anybody else in the room?
Hi there, my name's Jasmine. I've been living in Owego for over 3 years now and have been organizing in Binghamton against pervasive surveillance, such as the license plate readers. When I heard that Owego PD wanted to bring that same technology that I've been fighting against in Binghamton, I was frustrated. Owego is a slice of peace of the southern tier. There's a bunch of injustices occurring in surrounding towns, and I've been helping organize in many of them. But when I come home, I get to breathe. Many people come to Owego to enjoy their time here, whether it's a tourist shopping at our local shops or family visiting from out of town. Big Brother isn't lurking around watching us here. I hear Officer Howard speak about the crime rings last week. Everyone I have spoken since then has scoffed at the idea of Owego being crime-ridden. Installing these AI-powered cameras, and don't try to tell me that AI is just a slap of a label. It's not. Installing these cameras are not going to help you solve any more crimes. You say these cameras only capture images of vehicles, but that's just software. The camera is still a camera capturing everything that drives by or walks by. The software is what reads the vehicle. What's to stop Motorola or whichever company you end up deciding on from expanding their software to capture facial features or human voices? The license plate reader is nothing but a software. I have here printed some coming safeguards to protect our people from future investments in AI-powered surveillance. I beg of you to rethink the installation of ALPRs in Owego and to implement these safeguards to protect Owego residents and tourists from irresponsible use of surveillance.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Wendy?
Wendy Dice, 383 Front Street. We're lucky to have a police department, and we're thankful that we have them. And they're the experts in our village, and who we need to rely on to help enforce the laws and keep us safe. And they say they need certain tools in their toolbox to make them work more efficiently, to keep us up to standard with everybody else. I think we need to listen to them. It's like, what if the doctor said he needed a new laser thing for doing his surgery? Are we gonna turn around and tell the doctor, no, you're picking the wrong equipment? I mean, I think we need to listen to what we're saying, like, hear what we're saying.
Anybody else in the room? All right, we'll move to the online folks.
Hi, I'd like to start. My name is Laura Young. I live at 22 Fulton Street here in Owego. I request that the letter I emailed to the elected officials is placed in the official minutes of tonight's meeting, emergency village board meeting. Dear Mr. Mayor of the Board of Trustees, to begin with, I'd like to state something clearly. I do not believe that this public meeting constitutes a real emergency anyway. The Village of Owego Police Department received notification to apply for the New York State Law Enforcement Technology LA Tech grant in the first week of July. and did not bring it to the public's attention until August 17th at the village board meeting. They need to mail in their application requesting for $125K by the 2nd. To call an emergency meeting, that there is little time to run proper advertising alerting the residents of this occurring in the paper of record, which comes out tomorrow, is just wrong. In my mind, poor performance or delay in getting yourself together of OPD and presenting information does not in any way fall under what constitutes an emergency meeting, which is an unscheduled gathering called to handle sudden critical crisis that cannot wait for a normal schedule. These sessions are made specifically to make fast choices when facing unexpected threats, financial loss, and safety dangers to the community by the board. Where's the unexpected threat? Where's the financial loss of a grant we haven't even applied for, let alone received? Where is the safety damage? The natural disasters, there are none. This is simply for an application to a grant that you were asked to rush through on voting. It's poor OPD planning, and it is not an emergency. Voting on this grant so quickly without having 100% of the questions answered, having no time to truly contemplate it if it is wanted or needed by the residents in our village. You rush to vote, not even letting the public speak before doing that. This book, the board took over 2 years to ponder a dangerous intersection, 1.5 years for chickens. My point is very simple. It's this. I have filed a case with New York State. They're going to review if this, in fact, warranted an emergency. The talking about the clerk's payment does not, by the way. The emergency meeting was specifically for OPD's application. So under the grant, our police department has known of this grant for years. It came out in 2023. It came out again in 2024. It'll come out again. Our police department has known for approximately 2 years that their car computers that they used to file their official reports would be coming to end of use this fall and would no longer be able to be connected to the county service. They could have looked elsewhere for a different grant. I am totally against the cameras completely. Sorry. I don't trust the OPD, and a lot of people don't. I have a petition up. I've gotten over 101 already signatures. That's more than any of you were elected with, and they are all people who reside in Owego, work here, or have family members here they visit. How you did this was completely inappropriately, and I have filed a case against you. Thank you. Yeah, whatever.
Same one there. Okay. Anybody else? Public comment? Let's see. Doug has his hand raised online. If you can unmute yourself, you can go for it.
We do expect the comments to be about the issue.
That is true. And for clarification, we can have a special meeting about anything with proper notice, which is 72 hours.
An emergency meeting.
This was not an emergency meeting, it was a special meeting, according to open meetings law. Doug? Need another chance? Anybody else online? Okay.
We can't, we're done?
Yeah, I guess.
We'll do adjourn?
Sounds good. See you guys in 2 weeks.